Chevelle Clements.
And your Cynthia's
Yeah, that's my sister.
Can you spell your first name?
Chevelle.
And your father's name,
Charles Clements. Charles. Well, yeah, I'm really interested for you guys to see the video because everybody will have their own, opinion of what happened. Well, actually, it'll be the facts of what happened after you see the video.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
No. Have you filed? No, we have not filed anything. We will shortly. Okay. All right.
You just speak before you just play.
Yeah, we just say we're here.
No, that's a mess. I will get it.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you for coming down here today. I have a video that we're going to play. It has an introductory comment, so no sense in being redundant. It also has a little bit of conclusion after it goes through it. I will then be taking questions afterwards. The important point of this video is that night there were a couple dozen cameras, body cameras, squad cameras, and there was over 30 hours of video footage. All this is meant to do is put a little context around it. Time is always moving forward, and it's various cameras and various perspectives. Because to expect the community to go on and look through 30 hours of video, we didn't think that that was the best way to go. So I will talk about it afterwards, but all the video will be made available. But this is just meant to, again, kind of put some context around it in 18 minutes, how that call on last week, 10 days ago, how it progressed. So with that, I will just play the video and go away. And then we'll turn around and I'll take questions the other way. Can you get the lights, please?
Chief, make sure that volume's up nice and high, please.
Hello, I'm Jeff Svoboda, the police chief here in Elgin. I know many of you have been waiting for us to release the video footage pertaining to the Decynthia Clements death. I appreciate your patience as we delicately balance the needs of her family, the public's right to know, and also the independent investigation that's being conducted by the Illinois State Police. We expect it's going to take months before this investigation is complete. When they're done, the case is going to be reviewed by the Cook County State's Attorney. We're also expecting that will take months. Once these parties have concluded their work, we begin our own internal investigation into the adherence of departmental policies. In an effort to be transparent and help the family and this community heal, we are releasing the video now rather than waiting for the case to conclude. This video you're about to see is a factual narrative from March 12th that summarizes the 24 video clips that combine for approximately 30 hours of footage. I'm not drawing any conclusions or providing any opinions. Please remember, this event happened 10 days ago, and the Illinois State Police are in charge of this independent investigation. The purpose of this video, though, is to give an overview of that incident. Multiple cameras were utilized, and at times I'm going to be hopping in for narration. At the conclusion of the video, I'll be back to talk about where you can go to see all of the videos that were out there that night in their entirety. All of it will be available for the community. But before you watch, please be warned that the content is graphic, and it may be disturbing to some viewers. Here in location 1 is where officers initially made contact with Ms. Clements at 12:30 a.m. Location 2 is the general area where the incident occurred. This is northbound Dundee at the entrance to eastbound I-90. Vehicle does not stop for the officer. Once on I-90, the officer terminates his attempt to stop the vehicle. The next time officer sees the vehicle is on westbound I-90 on the shoulder.
Cynthia's still in here. Hey, she's reaching, putting something away. I can't tell what she's doing. She's got a bag in her hands. What's that? Yeah? Cynthia, open up the door now! Open up the door! Open up the door! Cynthia, you need to open the door. I can't hear you. Still can't hear you. Really loud out here. What? Cynthia, don't make this any harder on yourself. Just open the door. Cynthia, you almost done with that cigarette? All right. One or two, she's trying to pull away.
You think just one occupant?
What's that?
Just one occupant?
Yeah.
You got the knife on the hip?
Go on her right hand.
All right.
Yeah.
Is the vehicle off yet?
What's that?
Her vehicle still on?
No, yeah, it's still on. She just tried pulling away. She literally just moved.
All right. Hey, you guys got enough to do like a rolling roadblock? Cause she could just swerve in at any time. You guys got enough to do like a rolling roadblock here to block this off? Because if she goes hard and the semi's coming, she's gonna get slammed. Who squads this? Cynthia, this is the Elgin Police Department. You're under arrest. Turn your car off and step out of the vehicle. Cynthia, you are under arrest as the Elgin Police Department. Turn off your vehicle and step out of the vehicle.
Right,
We got some extra spots we might be able to help.
We have state out here with us. We have the left lane for westbound 90 with a directional on to shut it down. The vehicle is stopped. We were giving commands for her to exit the vehicle.
Sorry, they're getting some more trucks trying to block down this whole lane so she doesn't go in front. So.
Vehicle's front driver's side and rear passenger tires are gone. It's just gone to a rim.
On foot forward. No, it wasn't that better. You found a restaurant. I'm here about the same here. And exact location. We made contact a couple of times.
We're westbound right in front of mile marker 57. We're westbound 90. If you get on 25 eastbound, you're going to have to go to the first turnaround road out there.
So the eastbound at what?
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah, knife's on her right hip on the seat. Last time we saw it. That's about 50 feet ago, though.
Okay, you got the 40? And cover ball. We gotta take her into custody if she comes back out.
Cynthia, this is the Allen Police Department. You are under arrest. Exit your vehicle with your hands up.
What is this going to Light a cigarette? That's it. What's the knife look like?
It's a steak knife.
It's a steak knife?
Yeah.
Nothing else? I saw drug paraphernalia.
That's all I saw. A lot of drug paraphernalia. She, there's some white powdery substance on her left hand that she's probably, I'm assuming, cracked, trying to hide. She's actually stuck in the cracks like we locked up to her the second time out here with Clear Boy.
Was it? She was suicidal. She was in a therapy session and she started to have active auditory hallucinations.
Hey guys, we're gonna move up. We're gonna try and talk with her on this side, alright? You guys can just hang out back here. No, you can just stay back here, boy. Trying to put in drive. In drive.
But,
Thank you.
we need to get the rest of the westbound lane shut off. She's got a history of,
down?
yeah, she's got a history of suicide. We don't want her pulling out.
Reverse. And watch yourselves.
I'll try to see if I can reach she's got maybe a cell phone with her or something like that. If you got a cell phone with her, see if I can talk to her. They're closing down eastbound 90, so we're probably just hopefully gonna
Shut down eastbound 90?
eastbound, yeah. So that again, we don't get the drunk who comes in and crashes in all of us watching this or something.
Oh.
Shut down in like a few minutes, and then we'll try to approach her again after this is all shut down.
Okay, I just got the text for possibly phone numbers from her.
All right, yeah, just wait, and then after it's all shut down, I'll just yell over to you, or I'll hit you up on the air, and then you guys can end up approaching again. We're just gonna slow play it.
We're not gonna.
No, we're not gonna go up. We're not gonna jump over this. We're not gonna jump over the side and then have her smash an officer or anything like that. We're just gonna go up and talk with her, see if we can get her out. If this lasts long, I talked to Flurry. We might be bringing up the armor to pin her in, and then work on it that way. So,
Okay. We're gonna wait
If she
until.
walks back too, just make sure we get me and one other and Garcia. So us three will stay on this side for cover, and then you guys be the hands team on the opposite side.
Right. We'll try and get her back maybe 30 feet or so, and then
Try and get her prone down until we approach.
Yep. I'm good. If she comes out with the knife in her hand, coming towards us with a knife.
Yeah, we'll try to get it to stop. So we had the 40 and we had the barrier, which is great.
And then remembering if she's got the knife to herself, she's taking herself hostage. She's got them if she wants to hurt herself. All right. Okay? So at that point, we're not going to end it for her.
No.
So,
Taser would be a good idea. If you got the
and that's where we have a cut ball. Go ahead.
Okay, why don't you start making the phone calls?
10-4. $918. Make a note. Phone call to 9379. 9379. Straight to voicemail. 918 Elgin.
918.
Make another note. 7284. 7284. Continuous ring.
7284, continuous ring.
We're hoping that one of these phone calls or one of these phone numbers works for it. The first one goes straight to voicemail. This is the second one, just a continuous ring.
Couple points to clarify real quick. First, it has been 1 hour that we've been on westbound I-90. Secondly, the pepper ball is a less lethal weapon. So is the 40 millimeter. It's also commonly referred to as a rubber bullet. Lastly, you just heard the officer on the scene say that he is attempting to make contact with numbers associated with Ms. Clements.
For him. So we're all prepared. I'm going to get my own too then. And then I'll take over the PA on 13 as long as we...
They can move it up a little bit. I mean, if she backs up, she backs up. It is what it is. But we are not letting her back up. She will get stopped at that point. We're not going to let her go the wrong way on I-90.
Okay.
So, if she does exit out of the vehicle, I'm sure you guys have gone over this. We'll try to order her back. We're not going to have her cross this. We'll try to order her over here to get on the ground. She does end up brandishing another knife, running it at us. We'll go with the 40, okay? And if it ends up being closer, if she's coming towards us, we're going to try like the taser then, and then we'll take other options. But we'll hopefully be able to get her out and just walk back towards us. We can throw her out on the ground. I don't know how well her direction following skills are going to be right now, though.
Okay, traveling westbound on the shoulder now.
As you just saw, Ms. Clements again drove further down westbound I-90. So officers made the decision to pin her between two squad cars to prevent any further movement.
I'm going to be pinning this vehicle in from on the front. Who's ever, I think it's Rob, you're right behind her. You're pin her in out of the rear. Okay?
Stand by.
From the view of the front squad car, you will see Ms. Clements igniting two items and tossing them into the back seat.
Open up the door, keep your hands up.
Who you want with me up here?
Exit the vehicle. Yep. So that's the driveway. Exit the vehicle.
If she gets out,
You have the car
okay, and her hands are empty, she starts coming back, me and one other jump this, we'll get her
Okay,
down,
ready,
get her
open
up.
open up the door, keep your hands up.
Stay back.
Don't hurt you.
Yeah. Everybody else say.
Hey guys, it's her vehicle. Turn on fire.
Light smoke, it looks like it's fucking up on the inside. She's rolling with it. Yeah, smoke's coming from the inside. She's rolling down.
She's got the knife to her neck. She got the knife to her neck.
Is she stabbing herself?
Putting that to her chest, can't function the game a little bit.
Okay, why don't you keep on negotiating? Oh, there's a fire going on in the vehicle, guys. There's a fire going on inside the vehicle.
Active fire in the back of the vehicle.
All right, we're gonna have to like extract her here. Stand by.
Hey, Chad, hold back, hold back. Chad, hold back.
I'm holding back, I'm holding back. I'm just kidding. I'll get back over if she chokes out with the knife. Chris, I got my foot on the brake, but Cynthia, step out of the car for me.
Get out of the car.
Do we need a fire department out there?
Cynthia, step out of the car, Cynthia. Step out of the car, Cynthia. Step out of the car. It's her screaming. We gotta get her.
Gotta get the window down.
Yep.
Stand by. Hands, team.
Let's go. Get out of the car.
Cynthia, step out of the car. All right, boys, it's gonna be rough here. They look at the taser ready.
There's your hand on it.
Shield. Shield.
You have the taser.
All got
Yeah,
there.
get her out. You want me to smash the window? Get the taser set. Get her out.
I got it.
Hold on. You see your hands? See your hands? Those hands.
Cynthia, get out of the car.
Hey, put the knife down. Put the knife down.
In the 7 minutes before paramedics arrived, officers were required to move Decynthia's body 3 times as the fire began engulfing her vehicle. You know, while I'm releasing this video in an effort to provide answers and begin the healing process, I know from viewing the footage myself that it will also create more pain, especially for her family. You know, seeing uncensored video of a life ending is something that should make all of us feel uncomfortable. It's cases like this, though, that also force some tough conversations, and I want the community to know that the Elgin Police Department is ready to have those tough conversations. Together, we will get through this.
Yeah, why don't we just turn the lights up and then you guys can get set and everything, and then we'll put the chief up for some questions. And the link should be sent out to you guys as well. Let me get these hands out. Got one?
Hold on, hold on.
Yeah. The link is at the bottom. And you guys put on the response to the protocols.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Everyone got what they need here? Yep. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'm Jeff Swoboda, the police chief here in Elgin, and I want to just make some introductory remarks here, and then I'll open up for a few questions. But I think it all needs to be what needs to be said right up front is this is an investigation that's being conducted by the Illinois State Police. And so what I've been balancing, as I said in the intro to the video, is the trying to understand what the family is going through and giving them the answers that they need. Understand that this community is hurting and they need answers, but then also recognizing that the Illinois State Police is trying to conduct an independent investigation. You know, by design, when the statute was passed about a department not investigating itself for use of deadly force like this, this is exactly what was in mind, that I don't know where the investigation is at. They talked to Elgin police officers, and I wasn't there, and I don't have the reports of what the officers said. So what I'd ask is that people understand that while we are trying to answer the questions as best we can, we're doing it in a manner that is still, again, trying to walk that line between making sure the family has answers that they can get, the community has the answers that they need, but the state police can still conduct an independent investigation. You know, part of this was the body camera and squad videos. I talked about all of the cameras that are out there, all the video that was there. You know, we worked hard to try to put something together and get it out quickly. This incident happened 10 days ago, and I've had multiple press conferences, met with people who were out front protesting, or just many of them who were here hurting and wanting answers. Met with many of you, met with the family, met with friends, met with clergy. We've met with as many people as we can. We are trying to lead the way in what a transparent police department looks like. And what a transparent police department looks like is that you get in front of the cameras and you talk with the people before you have all the answers. You don't wait until you have all the facts. And that's kind of a scary place to be sometimes, because you're saying things that may turn out to be not completely accurate. And so I'm going to answer your question sometimes either I believe or I'm not going to answer that, because the last thing I want to do is have a tape out there of me saying one thing and evidence coming forward later that says something different. So please understand that that's the point of why we are treading softly with this while still trying to get the information out there. Lastly, I would just say that this entire community is hurting. We recognize that. This police department's hurting. Obviously, the family of Decynthia is hurting. You know, last night I heard people just making sure that as they were looking at this, they were saying, you know, they just want Decynthia's life to have mattered. And I can tell you, Decynthia's life mattered. It absolutely mattered. And we're investigating this. We're working with the Illinois State Police and providing you all the information we can to make sure that people can get the questions they need answered, which are tough questions, that we can look at this incident as well, ask ourselves some tough questions, and hopefully be a better police department of it afterwards. With that, I'll open it up for a few questions, but again, please monitor yourself as far as with the investigation that I can't go too far into. Helena.
What numbers did the officers try to call when they sent associated numbers?
I don't have that. I don't have which numbers. So, but where they got the numbers for, okay, I thought you were asking for the numbers.
No.
Through our computer-aided dispatch system and our records management system, we keep track of previous incidents. And so sometimes we'll come across a name and we can have numbers associated with it. And that was something that many people asked, is we were out there for an hour, why didn't we try to call someone? Well, we did. We tried to call 2 numbers. We only had 2 numbers associated with Decynthia, and we called both of them. They were unsuccessful. Yes, sir.
Was there ever any attempt to bring in a training negotiation team or people who have experience with HBT situations to address Decynthia now?
Yeah, so the person that you heard talking was one of our sergeants who up until recently, just through transition, was in charge of our hostage negotiation team. So he's a sergeant with extensive experience in hostage negotiation. He's trained in crisis intervention training, which is something that the police department has a very high percentage of officers trained in. So yes, we had someone in there with experience in negotiating.
Chief, we heard your officers talking about use the taser, use the taser. What changed between using the taser and then coming out of the car?
Well, part of the investigation is going to be that whoever uses force has to explain that force. And the state police is doing this investigation. So those tactics and what officers were thinking at their approach and when they decided to use the force that they used, they have to answer to that. Every officer in this police department and across this country that uses force has to explain their actions. But at this point, they're not explaining it to me. He's not on the job, and he's working through the Illinois State Police. So yeah, I can't really go much further because I don't want to get in front of their questioning. But as you heard through that, the idea of a 40 millimeter, which is a rubber bullet, a taser was mentioned, I don't know how many times, but a lot. Shutting down I-90 in both directions. Steps were being taken all along the way to have a successful outcome with this. And the fact that we don't have press conferences like this very often says that our de-escalation strategies here in Elgin work. And the last time we had an officer-involved shooting here in Elgin was, I want to say, in 2012. Last time somebody was, did I get that right, Janelle? 2012? I was going off years, but it was about 1999.
99.
No, last time someone was, last time force was used where someone was actually killed was 1999. So we're talking 19 years ago. So we're working through this. We're going to be looking at this incident. Again, I want to be very clear. The state police is looking at this through the eyes of, was there justifiable force? When that investigation is done, it comes back to me, so I can answer. So I can look at this and say, was it done within our policy? Was it done within the values of the Elgin Police Department? Were things thought out? Is how we're going about this? I can tell you that if from our procedure, but not specifically about this case, because not knowing what the officer said, the intention, I'm sure, was to sit out there and negotiate as long as we could. The fire appeared to really have to change the officers' tactics. And how they then responded was how each of those officers are going to have to answer. Mike?
I was just going to ask, what was the initial, you never really said what the initial contact with Decynthia was. What was the initial contact about that night?
So approximately 12, a little before 12 o'clock on the kind of the dead end of Cedar, officer saw a car that was running. He went around, came back, looked down. It's kind of in an area that's kind of sunken down. Saw that a car was still down there, and then came back after going to a call for service and saw that the car was still there. So 40 minutes later. So as they went down, they made contact with Decynthia, asked a few questions, and didn't get very coherent answers. I think would probably be the best way to answer that. And then Ms. Clements left abruptly before the officers were done talking with her.
Was the car on a road in a sunken area, or?
It's a road. It's kind of in a gravel area off at down by the river.
So she was by Press Castle?
Yes.
So Chief, can you talk about facing the family today? Obviously you had a string of community members, clergy members come in here as well. What was your conversation like with them?
You know, I've met a couple times with the family, and they're obviously extremely difficult conversations. Today was more about the video. We wanted them to see it first. And as far as the questions that the family is asking, I'll let them ask you or tell you what maybe they asked me. But generally, it was why. Would probably be the biggest question is why.
And her family described, their own words, say that she was emotionally disturbed, and after watching the video with you this morning, say that she was clearly in a moment of crisis, but wasn't treated as a woman in crisis by your department, and that other tactics could have been used. I guess what you say to that?
I would say the investigation is going to determine what tactics were used and where they were appropriate out there from the criminal side. Then it will come back to the Elgin Police Department, in which we will look at that as well. Again, I would just draw the attention to the hour-long out there shutting down I-90 in both ways and trying to talk, but we will review it and see what could we have done better, what could we have done different. But I can't answer that until I find out why the decisions were made that were made by the officers on the scene.
Were drugs and drug paraphernalia recovered from the car afterwards?
There's a significant fire that you saw on there, and the Illinois State Police is in charge of collecting all the evidence, and they collected evidence, but we don't have a list of what they collected. And they will be the ones who, once they process the scene, determine what was left. And after their investigation, we'll turn it over to us once we come back to the administrative side here at the Elgin Police Department.
Do we know what caused the accident that busted up her tires in the front end of the car? Where that
No.
happened?
So one of the questions kind of needs clarification is, so you saw the officer get on Route 90 and try to stop her, Ms. Clements, and she didn't stop. And the officer turned off his lights, went up to 59 and turned around and came back west, and then saw her on the side of the road with obvious signs of damage. And although we don't know, there's a cutout there right before that, and so whether or not that cutout was used to turn around and hit the guardrail, that was one of the concerns. What was just struck to cause that much damage to the car that you heard and saw?
So
Chief, I know you must have watched at least the last part of that video several times when she comes out of the car. How clear is it to you? How many times have you seen it about, and how clear is it to you what's actually happened?
Well, I've watched it multiple times, and again, I don't want to get ahead of the investigation as far as determining, because the officers had perceived what was occurring. Others that I've shown this to have had multiple views of what is occurring, and so I don't want to say without getting all the rest of the information just from looking at the video. So she was clearly exiting the car and clearly had a knife. but I don't want to go any further than that.
Which hand was the knife in?
So the knife upon exiting the vehicle was in the left hand. However, there is evidence to suggest once Ms. Clements was shot that she actually had a knife in both hands. It's just not clear on the video.
Was she known to police before? Did you all know who she was? I know they called her by her.
Well, we had numbers associated with her, so we had been out with her before. I'll take one more question. Or no more questions.
How many times did the officer fire?
One officer shot 3 times. And so I guess just my final thought is, this police department spends a lot of time and energy working with the community, and whether it's our resident officers and community engagement and working with kids and trying to mentor them and get them on the right track. And sometimes you step back and you say, wow, we're really doing a great job with our engagement. And then something like this happens and a lot of questions are being asked. And I've heard people at the city council meeting saying that the police need to do more outreach, that there's portions of this community that don't feel that they're connected with the Elgin Police Department. And the one thing that I can promise you is that the Elgin Police Department heard them loud and clear. We heard that we need to do a better job with engaging the community, all segments of the community. And you can definitely know that while we recognize this community is hurting, this police department is hurting, but together as a community, we're all going to get through this. And thank everyone for your time.
So, if she does exit out the vehicle, I'm sure you guys have gone over this. We'll try to order her back. We're not going to have her cross this. We'll try to order her. I'm over here, how to get on the ground. She does end up brandishing of the knife, running it at us. We'll go with her the 40, okay? And if it ends up being closer, if she's coming towards us, we're going to try like the taser then, and then we'll take other options. But we'll hopefully be able to get her out and just walk back towards us. We can prone her out on the ground. I don't know how well her direction following skills are going to be right now, though. Stand by, stand by, stand by. Hand me the 40 here. No.
Cynthia, get out of the car!
Cynthia, step out of the car! All right, boys, this is gonna be rough here. Okay, look at the taser ready. Come over here, Hall. Hall, hand me this.
I got hands.
Who has the taser? Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to get her out, boys. Get the taser set. Get her out. Smash. There we go. Look.
Your hands, Cynthia, hands. Hands.
Cynthia, show me your hands.
Hands, put the knife down.
Nice. Hey, guys, step up here with the knife. Okay, we need an ambulance here now, guys. Hey, guys. Get this. Get the squad up. Hey, guys, the vehicle's engulfed. I need my car moved now. I need this car moved now, and we have to drag her. Watch out. Drag her. Elgin 916.
Matt, watch your foot. Yeah, watch your foot. Shot it.
What? We have... Oh, I got you. Right there, we have the subject shot. We're going to need an ambulance. She is unconscious. Not breathing. We have a car that's fully engulfed. Alright. You're going to have to take up my gun. We're going to have to do a lot of stuff, obviously. I'm going to be out of the box here. I'm going to have to contact Flurry. I need you to contact Flurry. I need you to tell him exactly what happened and tell him, what just went down. That was the 916. Okay, the car is fully engulfed. I'm sure you've gotten all this information. This subject appears to be a 31 at this time. All right.
Did we,
Yeah, I shot her.
Okay.
So I have all my camera on at this time. So I got my boss. You know, unfortunately, we had to drag her because of the fire.
Yeah.
So she had a couple knives in her hands. Approached us with the knives.
Okay.
Yelling and screaming. But
ambulance, I have one standby as soon as they get here. Thank you.
Flirt's number, actually. You know what? You got it on your phone? No, I don't. Yeah, my phone should be in my car. Good. I'm good, bro. What do you need me to do? I'm good. I am good.
Need to do anything right
Nope,
now?
I am fully comfortable with what happened there.
Absolutely.
You know, it sucks. I don't feel happy about it. It's not a good thing. But
legit. I'm just making sure.
it was, it is what it is. You know, I'm the boss here, so I got to supervise until the story gets here.
Understood, but if you need anything.
And, yeah. Okay. Yo.
Cover me at all, or what do you want to do that? I got a blanket in my squad.
We got I-90 is blocked in every which way, so we are good. We'll just wait. And what everybody is stay live until you're back at the station. All right?
Yep. Right. Roger that.
That sucked, Rob. Absolutely sucked. No, they're going to take her. If not, I'll head up there. I need you to take up my rifles unsecured. It's just in my vehicle.
Yeah.
I need that. I got my phone.
Back at 17.
I'm going to wait on scene because I'm going to give them all my stuff on scene. But they're going to have to ask me a couple questions. Listen, I'm going to tell you, not on the body cam, I fired 2 to 3 times. So there is no, we have a backdrop now, and I was following in downward direction, okay? So, as far as that, you know the rest of the story. Obviously, we had to get her out of the car, else she was going to burn alive. It was, yeah. All right.
You all right?
I'm good. I mean, I don't know what else we were going to do there. You know, to get her out of the car. So, I'm good. Yes, I'm good. Yeah, I'm not happy. I'm not. It absolutely sucks. But I don't know what else. I was stuck. You know, she's burning in the car. Now we got to move.
Yeah.
And
she comes out.
Knife in both hands, yelling. I mean,
I tased.
you tase. At the end of the day, it's not. Unfortunately, you know, it just is what it is. So
Second getting out of the car.
yeah. As soon as I saw both knives, the hands going, and yeah, you know, I just. So I would say this now, guys. Now this is the last time I'm going to speak about it. So we'll, you know, everyone will go over their thing, but wait till Flurry and Lake Wolf get here, and